Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 90 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny and our love of the game. Your hosts, as always, are Kingsley, Max, Sin, and Des Raven, and no guest other than, I guess, the guest of Sin playing the game. Is that our guest this evening?
I mean, you can consider Craig a guest, since sometimes he shows up for recording.
Sometimes. At least, 90% of the time?
Yeah, 90.
We had to guess.
We might give him 95.
I know, we have to be fair. He's been pretty good to us, but when he's annoying, boy, we are having to figure out something else on the fly, and it's not always a good experience. But I think we'll be good this week, right? Seems like he's doing okay. Hello, Craig.
We'll be fine this week. We'll be fine.
Craig, we love you. Please stay with us always, forever.
I'll be getting my banana on while we're chatting tonight.
Excellent. So we'll hear a report on that a little bit later in the show. But what have y'all been doing otherwise, Sid? Iron Banana, other things since the last time we've talked?
I actually hadn't had a chance to play much this week. I was supposed to raid last night. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it. Work kicking my ass, unfortunately. So, yeah, other than that, I haven't been playing much.
I still think you've done almost more things in the game than I have besides raiding. You said you got a few more. How are you on your triumphs? Getting more things checked off?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm as far as I can go on Splintered. Let me look at it. It is, Warden. I'm 15 of 19, which it looks like I'm all caught up. And then Splintered, I have a few more things to do.
Remind us which one's which again?
So Warden is your seasonal.
Okay.
And Splintered is Beyond Light.
I thought so. I just wanted to remember for sure in case anyone listening didn't know.
Yeah, I got some brig farming to do for the Beyond Light one. My last tier 3 Saboteur quests. So for the most part, I'm caught up on whatever that I need to do outside of my penguins and those scanner rolls.
And there is officially a secret triumph now in the seasonal one, where before, we were already starting to speculate last week that there's got to be more stuff, even though a couple weeks ago we were like, it doesn't look like there's much. But now with the latest update, they officially added a secret triumph in Season of the Hunt on the left, Hunting the High Celebrant, and then under quests. So even if they don't add any more, there's at least this one. It's probably some like mid or end season thing where we just kind of wrap it up. Or maybe something more involved.
Definitely, potentially. Data miners have made out that there are confidential triumphs. It's just, when Bungie tags something confidential, it's extraordinarily difficult to actually get a read on it.
Yeah. Like that today in Destiny where they show a lot of stuff from the Eververse store. And sometimes you can get ahead of time some pretty good ideas of what's showing up, but there has been still some unknown placeholder things of items in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what have you been up to, Des?
I've been doing like 2 things in Destiny, and I've done those 2 things a lot.
Okay.
That's Iron Banner and raids. My God.
I actually have seen you doing a lot of raids.
I know, right? I've had 2 full clears, and then I think after recording, I ended up hopping on a checkpoint like that Monday, I think. So, or was that like Thursday?
It's hard to remember now with how much we're all raiding, right?
Like, holy crap. I did complete my full, 1 session raid just yesterday, so that was fun. Start to finish, no breaks, no having to regroup. We just got her done, and it was fantastic, and it was under 2 hours.
Nice. So,
yeah. With a new person.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, that was...
Oh, was that Wicked?
No, well...
Oh, because I was trying to remember if he officially had a clear or not.
No, well, he didn't officially have a clear, but he's made it all the way up to the boss. And with as much as he researched, he knew what to do anyway.
So I guess the right term.
But no, I think it was Ninja Muffin's friend, Deathstroke.
Oh, yeah,
Had not run it before. So, yeah, we got him his first raid and clear. And Lucifer got his Eyes of Tomorrow on that raid, on that clear.
Nice.
I saw that. Yep. More and more people are starting to get it. Hopefully, it keeps dropping as people continue to run the raid. Hopefully,
Indeed.
it's not too low of a percentage, but I still feel like what I'm seeing out there is there's at least a hefty amount of people getting it so far.
I know, right?
So
Sadly,
it stays
Ninja
that way.
Muffin still hasn't gotten one.
Oh yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I say
No.
sadly, but yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's cool, but it's not like I'm maining it. I try to main it in some PvE things, but even then, I'm like, it's like, it's still a rocket launcher, and you don't have limited ammo, so you can't There's still other options that might be better.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and what was it? I saw on Reddit that there's for some reason something like arbitrary. I think people figured around 50% reduced damage it does to raid bosses.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, so I didn't know that, but I somehow knew anyways. Don't try it on. I was, the idea, especially with the multiple shots coming out, is to use it on groups of ads because they can just go all over the place.
Well, I mean, strike bosses, like everything else, it will deal like some pretty massive damage. But for some reason, whatever that damage is, it's like 40-some% less on a raid boss.
Weird.
Yeah, because people took it, of course, into Last Wish, and it just wasn't performing, So yeah, it was just super weird because they took it in the strike, and I think it out damages Sleeper, but like I said, in a raid, it's pretty much a normal rocket launcher at that point in time.
Yeah, and it is interesting just to say real quick about Deep Stone Crypt and how I like how it's a little more variable what you can use at the end, shotguns and snipers, and there's like the best ranked weapons if you talk about it, but it's still like not everyone may have them, or there's still at least some flexibility. I like how we're not just relying on the heavy, like the sleeper and the 1K and the line in the sand, and funny enough, yes, a sniper's still good, but it's Cloud Strike, it's energy, it's so it's kind of like a breath of fresh air in a way, is guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, considering this is, like I said, my preferred loadout is the raid shotgun and Cloud Strike and Falling Guillotine for last encounter, and it works, and it's ridiculous that it works.
I just got Cloud Strike this week, so I'm ready to do that routine also because I've liked the raid shotgun, but I just was using that with like a Dort, or I didn't spend time to see what would be better. But now I have Cloud Strike, so it'll bring my DPS back up. Of course, I still can't compete against the hunters with their golden gun, but
with the goldies, yeah,
that's okay. I'm the warlock. I got the well. Sometimes I'm the divinity guy. There always has to be the divinity guy. That's kind of crazy. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, heavies tend to take over, but now, like I said, ever since divinity came out, it just makes it. I mean, for Taniks, I don't think it's super necessary. It's just it makes it so much easier, considering it creates a crit spot like at eye level rather than having to angle all the way up to his head. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think, if we're being loose with the terminology, if necessary, I think with most groups that aren't like all together with everything, it's like I think it's necessary with a lot of for me too. Like I don't always hit shots as well. If I had to hit his head perfectly every time, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm sure I'd get used to it, but he does move around a little bit, and I think it is kind of necessary for a lot of the groups that I run with. And so I'm glad it's there, because can you imagine if we didn't have that?
I mean, that is the nightmare of Kali? Kali?
Oh yeah,
first encounter of Last Wish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way she bobs, and I mean, sure, you might have the proper weapons, but if she's going through like a fit, good luck getting the damage you need.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad I got my Cloud Strike, and I've been raiding a bit too. I I don't know how many did this week. Maybe just 2. I don't know. I've been not keeping track super well. I know I have a couple things on the line. Finally going to be running a different raid next week. Have a garden scheduled. We're working out the details still where it's going to be, but a couple people haven't gotten Divinity yet, and now that Divinity is getting a little more talked about, and I'm happy for that because then more people can be available. I don't want to be the Divinity guy,
right?
But Garden's still a good raid, and so now we're gonna hopefully get a couple more people their Divinity.
And of course, there's actually going to be a few times I'm going to want to rerun Deep Stone on my hunter so I can accumulate more spoils of conquest because I want to get an anarchy.
Yep. Well, thanks for mentioning running the spoils and everything. I finally started my second character today. It's been a while. Brought him out of her. It's a female hunter. I like my second character. And I didn't hardly do anything. I just brought over the weapons and got my armor from the season pass bar, and I was immediately 1248.
Now, did you unlock stasis? That's the key.
I did. I didn't want to do that, but then my wife was running through the story today, so I kind of did that with her. And so, my hunter is now unlocked stasis. And that was the other thing I was going to mention. I like hunter stasis super.
Oh my god, isn't that
probably the best
amazing
one?
Right.
Warlock's better, but hunter is fun.
I mean, it's like Warlock is good. It's just in a raid setting, like Warlocks and Titans have their roles, that people prefer. Well, people prefer bubble, like primarily.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like yesterday.
Sometimes, but
well, I was about to say, like yesterday's raid, I think we ended up with 4 out of 6 hunters or Warlocks.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to have 2 wells and 2 Nova bombs.
Nice
for Stanix. But no, I mean, like, there's always like the preferred, like, well, if you have 1 Warlock, well, they're running well. If you have 1 Titan, you're running bubble.
Yep.
I don't know. Hunters just have like, I mean, if you require damage, Golden Gun. Do you want some ad control? Now you have choices between Tether if you want everyone to get their super if they need it, or if you just want better crowd control, Silence and Squall. It's so nice, so good.
I know, and I never even realized where the squall came from. I somehow was assuming it was coming from, maybe because when I was playing Mayhem, I saw it so often, but I had assumed wrongly that it was coming from like the melee ability or something like that. But I didn't realize you throw the super, you have the initial burst, and then you have the squall that comes afterwards. I'm like, that's awesome because it's like a one and done, yet you still get a little bit of oomph afterwards when you can run around and do other stuff.
Unless you die mid super and then squall disappears.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess.
If your character does not get the throw animation for squall out, all you get is the initial freeze burst.
Okay.
I've made that mistake in Crucible.
Yeah, and Squall is annoying to play against it in Crucible, but it sure is fun in PvE to use. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So I'm going to be excited to start running my hunter a little bit more. That's for sure.
Now, are you going to get your 3rd character done?
I might actually send. I don't have anything necessarily against the Titan. It's just the lowest on my list out of the 3. But I think because of with how much rating is going on and everything, I really do think, I'll get the Titan out too. Give me another week or so. I don't want to get too burnt out right away running the story a 3rd time or whatever, but
right. And then doing all the stasis subquests.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, you only have to do the Born in Darkness steps because the fragments or aspects, can't remember which one's which. One of them you get unlocked across all 3. The other one,
the annoying one is the one you like to do once. There you go.
Yes,
say it that way.
Yes,
which I'm still working on my last. I was talking to Des before the show. I'm still working on my. I have 5 out of 10 champion kills in strikes using stasis. Still don't have that one done. That's the last one I'm working on.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to use that dusk field grenade. You don't have to. That's the best way to do it, and then get a kill, on the champion with that while they're slow.
Actually, for hunters, a good alternative is the glacier nade with your shatter dive, especially if you already have the fragments that increase the size or the damage of shatter or your shatter damage.
Okay.
Like, it's super useful. Like, hunters and titans share that actually for like good area damage in PvE. Because hunters with shatter dive and titans with a super sludge, as I call it, it just works beautifully.
Well, keep that in mind. Maybe I'll finish the rest through my hunter. Oh, but I still need to unlock some more on my hunter anyways, so I'll think about it.
Give you a day. You'll think on it.
Yeah, I've been playing Assassin's Creed still. It's been fun. I know a lot of people have been hopping in Cyberpunk. I'm tempering myself. I almost bought it the other day, and I know it has fairly good performance on PC at least. I mean, it's fine performance everywhere, but like the polygons and graphics are a little bit better on the PC. But I was like, you know what? I'm still in Assassin's Creed. There's still enough going on in Destiny. I think I'll give it a few more weeks, and then they'll get even more bugs worked out, and then I'll buy it then maybe.
Now, I know we had that debate in Discord about where to buy it. GOG versus Steam versus Epic.
I mean, it wasn't that big of a debate, but you could buy it wherever you want. But the idea is,
I call it a debate, but a nice. Nice,
because you don't want to have too many launchers, right? You already have a lot, so what's one more, right?
Well, yeah, what's one more? I'm already overwhelmed with life, and it's like, man, I don't mind the fact that I wouldn't mind supporting the developer 100%, but it's like, well, shit. Well, do I really want another launcher? I'm already overwhelmed.
Well, then you shouldn't buy the game at all right now. You probably don't have time for another game. That's what I'm telling myself too. But supposedly, if you buy it through the GOG, they will get 100% of the proceeds go to them. Plus, you get some other little floofy things on the side, like some extra, whatever, like emblems or things that you can put on your character. So I figured I might as well, when I buy it, I'll do it through the GOG. I don't have any GOG platform games either yet, Sin, but I'm not too concerned about having another launcher, so I'll get it there if and when I do.
Nice.
You considering it, or are you going to be like Steam?
I really want to do Steam or Epic just because I have other games there that I have and that I play, and it's consolidated. But I guess, I don't know. I guess I'll end up doing GOG. I don't want to be the oddball out that's like, F it. I'm just going to do Steam. F you.
The peer pressure. Everyone's
right.
Like, do it on GOG. Oh, you bought it on Epic, did you?
I blame Clear Knight for this.
Which, I mean, to be fair, also, Epic is the second best place to buy it because I believe they give more proceeds than Steam to the developers.
Interesting. Well, thanks for letting me know that. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was like the goal of like when they started the Epic launcher. That was like the goal is to basically be, better than Steam towards the developers, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't say that outright, but come on.
So many people have different opinions on things, and I know people that hate Epic because of like it being more like Chinese owned, and supposedly they track things more.
How's it Chinese owned?
Isn't Epic? I thought Epic was owned.
Epic
by
is North Carolina.
Yeah, but I thought okay, maybe I'm totally off base. Maybe I was thinking, what's the one that does like? Is Fortnite through Epic?
Yeah, well, Fortnite is Epic.
I thought Epic had their parent companies are owned by Xiaomi or whatever that master company is.
Really?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I know. I mean, Epic themselves have been around for freaking decades.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did Unreal and Unreal Tournament. Google can find out, that's for sure.
Right. I know Epic is, their own company, but I thought I heard still that they're owned by a parent company. So
company became Epic Mega Games in early
yeah,
'92.
Tencent. Yep, they have. It says partial investment. I thought they were wholly owned by Tencent, but it's
it's only 40%.
Yeah. So there you go.
I mean, but even at that point in time, I mean, Tencent has shares in Bungie right now as well.
Ooh, there you go.
Because if you remember their new IP, I believe they were working with Tencent I think.
Here's what I know. I know it's 2020, and we do not hate on wherever. So whether it's Chinese owned, Chinese invested, American owned, American invested.
Yeah, it wasn't that sin. No, you're right. It wasn't that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was about our private data was going back to them.
Yeah.
And they were doing spying, snooping on us. Now, I'm reading here, supposedly Epic, so this is under the criticisms area under Wikipedia. Epic has stated that Tencent does not have any access to any of its private data, nor does the Chinese government. So I will trust them with that for now, because I had heard also from people saying that Epic information goes back to the Chinese government. Maybe that was just one of those crazy rumors because out there,
Yeah, because in general, Tencent does not have a stellar reputation in the gaming world, so it's fair. And so, yeah, it's not about the fact that it's Chinese. It's pretty much Tencent. Yeah, it's Tencent specifically, basically, that doesn't really have a great reputation. So that is a little sketch, but also at the same time, I mean, I don't know.
We'll have to take it with a grain of salt right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's funny how we got on a side topic there, but
so that's the Guardian Hub's international policy section. No.
There you go. Where we occasionally talk about other games, but I am interested in this Cyberpunk. I mean, people are saying they like it even with the bugs, but I'm hoping to get a few people say like, "Oh, it's really awesome." I'm still not really hearing that from anyone specifically. So until I start hearing some like, "Oh, I'm hooked in it," like all the time, then that's probably what'll keep me back from ordering it still.
And even the junk size changing.
Yeah, a lot of issues with clothing not working as expected. And
I don't know. I mean, this is still like the gaming world that says Skyrim is one of the best games ever, even though you can skip like the first couple hours of the game by holding a plate in front of your character, but okay. Not kidding, that's like speedrun strats. I mean, it's a Bethesda game, and Bethesda games definitely don't have a reputation for being the most stable.
Who'd have thought?
Right.
Well, I did want to bring up this week an article that I was reading on Destiny Newsnet. Shout out to them again, of course. They have a partnership with us where our podcasts are now actually showing on their website. If you go to DestinyNewsHub.com. Sorry if I said the name wrong earlier. That's the official website. So you can edit that out. No, just kidding. I have my notes all over the place here, but our podcast is being listed there now, and of course, their articles are continuing to post in our Discord. And I saw this one the other day. So, Destiny 2: The Dawning Armor from 2020 looks a little familiar, and they were showing how does this look similar or not, and then. It's funny too because the part that I could have told you even beforehand is like they always have like horns on them, right? Like from previous years. That's the part that looked familiar to me. And sure enough, they took a picture and they even gave a shout out to Forbes from Tassie. They're like, thankfully Forbes went above and beyond to put on year 2's Dawning Armor to show everyone what the similarities are. And you see the Titan from last year, and I mean, I think this year looks better by far. The one last year, a little more 80s looking shoulder pads. They're very rounded off. You still got the horns. very, very like skinny midsection, and then like kind of like big hips, which is kind of funny for it almost looks like a hunter in a way. If you look at last year's Titan armor, but then this year it's a little more like straight line down. The horns are a little less prominent. They seem folded in better. The shoulder pads are still big like a Titan. The shoulder pads have like extra, almost like horns coming off the sides, kind of like those water buffalo style look, how they come down on the side. The Warlock, I love the robes. I just don't like the big horns coming out of the top. Even the helmet without the horns would be pretty cool. And then the Hunter, let's see, where's the Hunter one? Is this the Hunter one on the top? They look all... Maybe I'm missing the Hunter one. Jeez. Well, anyways, I wanted to read a couple lines from this article. It's kind of funny. He says, as you can see, there are quite a few similarities here. However, I think that's okay. The thing about donning is that it's a yearly celebration that's very similar to Christmas. As such, this armor is basically a Guardian's version of a Christmas jumper. I don't know about you, but I have quite a few Christmas jumpers. They're amazing, and I would wear them all year round if my wife would let me. Sadly, everyone thinks I'm crazy when I pull them out in the middle of summer on a particularly chilly day.
Like by jumper, you mean onesie?
Yeah, probably like those pajamas or Christmas.
Well, jumper is also the UK terminology for a sweatshirt, I believe.
Yeah, could be.
So I'm not sure if it's the full what we consider jumper or simply a Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
Our UK friends can correct me if I'm awfully wrong.
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
Where's Scum Death when you need him? Yeah, anyone who's listening. But yeah, he just goes on to say, like, he says if you wear your, in Destiny 2, it's a similar thing. If you wear your donning armor year round, most Guardians will look at you like you're crazy. After all, there's better armor out there to wear. Even with Destiny 2 transmog coming, I don't think anyone would opt to wear donning armor all year round. What do you guys think? Should we get something drastically different every year, or is it okay that there's a common theme between all the armor? Let us know in the comments. And this was by Jamie Mooncroft Sharp, one of the writers over there. I think it's interesting. I don't personally mind that the armor is just slightly different from last year. I still hope what we're maybe getting, if anything different, is I hope there's some kind of like thing that they haven't told us that'll make this replayable. I don't want to just be doing regular old bounties and strikes for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Do you have any hopes for do you care what the donning armor looks like, and any hopes for what the event will be like?
I will say that personally, because it's something that basically just popped into my head, but I 100% don't mind that there's like themes for seasonal armor. I think it's just easier for something like Festival of Lost to be drastic from one year to the next, because there's a lot of like Halloween, like different Halloween imagery, especially when you start getting into global similarities or similar holidays or whatever. But I mean, in essence, this is a seasonal event. They are actually free for all. So I really don't mind them kind of going low effort with them. So, I mean, I do kind of hope for some slight building here or there, but also at the same time, like, yeah, these events will basically get a large pass from me. So,
and Donning's free, right? On the free track, I'm trying to remember.
I do believe that the seasonal events are free for all.
Yeah, let me look that. I do believe so too. I just kind of want to confirm that here. If looking at the calendar, I know. I just
to the roadmap.
It would just be easy if they could even just add. I know we said this a billion times, and everyone, but add like SRL back in or something. Just something to make it kind of interesting and a little bit bigger than just running bounties or whatever we're going to do. And again, hopefully there's a little more to it. But
I certainly wouldn't mind SRL, but also at the same time, I kind of hope that would come back in Guardian games. Make that interesting.
Okay, bring it back somewhere.
Now, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I only say that because like the Guardian games armor looks so much like SRL racing armor. which is why I got like the set on my hunter, because it just reminded me of that.
I still remember I had one SRL racing armor in D1. It was like a jumpsuit. It was like very streamlined. It looked like, just racetrack armor. Just you kind of have it on something really sleek. And it was kind of funny. You could, if I shaded it all in yellow, it just looked hilarious. Dawning's free.
Yeah. Awesome.
Free is good.
They did say we're going to have new Sparrow ice moves, so there is something going on with the Sparrows.
Oh, but dude, no. Oh God, that reminds me. Yeah, speaking of the Dawning, that freaking ship that's coming this year. I'm so stoked for that.
Now, okay, am I just crazy? I thought that looked very similar to a ship we already had, but is that a new style?
That is a new. I don't know if it's similar to what we've had, but that it's definitely got customization that we are not. It's kind of like the same style of some of the Dawning stuff, but it's definitely got stuff that we have not seen before. Apparently, like from what they've said, like an animated shader, basically, which is going to be very nice.
Shader.
That's
cool.
Kind of like how the didn't the now I'm going to have a brain malfunction. Well, there was like something similar to animated shaders with the Forge stuff, wasn't there? Didn't they kind of have like an animated feel?
I think so. It's like it might have been like the resins. If you like threw resonance in there, it became a little glowy. Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, and apparently like a selectable engine effect on this ship, which isn't the most exciting of news, but
it's semi-exciting.
I mean, the fact that they're experimenting stuff with ships is good news to me.
That is, yeah. And don't forget the fusion. That looks pretty cool.
It does. It actually looks really good. I'm going to have to get at least one of those.
I'll be surprised if it'll be something awesome that replaces my fusion that I'm running right now, but I'll be happy if it does. Because I've just still been maining Hollow Words because I love how it's an arc fusion with Vorpal, and it's especially good on all the arc captains that are very common these days.
I think I looked this up, and I wanted to say it's a high impact frame fusion.
Okay.
Because of course it's already up in the API, and Light.gg is an excellent source. Starting 2020 gear. Here we go. Glaciocasm, which is a pretty cool name. Yes, it is a high impact frame. Nothing super stellar in it though. It doesn't even look like it can roll Vorpal. But Swashbuckler, Unrelenting, Demolitionist, Killing Wind, looks like Surplus. Under Pressure, Slide Shot. It'll be a little meh.
Yeah, because it's kind of rare for a holiday weapon to be something that becomes amazing. Even Arbalist, I guess Arbalist was because it was an exotic, but like these legendaries, and of course they bring things back, but like, it'll be, we'll see. I'll probably still be using my Hollow Words because, Arc Vex and Arc Captains, there's a lot of those around in Beyond Light. So,
yeah. Element.
Lots of Arc.
Yep. Oh, it's Void.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good though. Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, like I said, nothing super stellar though. But yeah, it is a high impact frame. So, if I remember the old trick right, it's pretty much the best thing to put like accelerated coils on. I think.
Oh. Okay.
I know like D2 vanilla, that was like the thing, grabbing high or early D2, like the high impact ones with accelerated coils were they still killing like the most amount of bolts from distance or something. I don't know. That was years ago by now. Holy crap.
Well, and one thing that could be interesting too is there will be community goals in this event.
Ooh.
You said
So,
what? Say that one more time.
and community goals.
Ooh.
So personal goals, I mean, I guess that's just like, like normally it's like the triumphs probably you're passing off, but community goals. And it says the more spirit that guardians generate, the better rewards that Eva will have for everyone to share. So there will be some type of community goals and they'll give us some type of reward.
Ooh.
Is this going to be an event where the Titans win again and they get a little statue?
No, this is the whole community, Sin. The whole community.
Yeah, I know. The whole community participated in that one too, and look what happened.
No, that had groups competing against each other. This is everyone competing together.
I know.
That and a lot of hunters did not care about that event.
Oh, we're back to this. Yeah.
No, I mean it's legitimate. Like if you, I mean, just from the fact that as soon as they reported, it's like, oh yeah, hunters aren't going to receive like 1-to-1 completion. Like a lot of people are like, well, screw it.
Which is too bad because I kind of get why that was happening too. Like there are more, but yeah, when you hear that, you do definitely have a psychological like, I don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I was still doing it, but I was doing it on all characters fairly equally, so I was not helping anybody.
That too, I know. So that's like the people that run it a lot are probably doing all three characters, so that doesn't make logical sense then why they don't just make them even. And then the people that do it a little bit probably aren't adding much to the equation anyways. So it's yeah, good point. They probably should have just had it as a 1-to-1 for everyone. Just do that next time. I mean, see how it goes.
I appreciate the transparency, but also at the same time, just don't tell us that it's a decreased chance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just let us try hard. Just let us go for it. Keep us in ignorant bliss. And then tell us later, it's like, yeah, there were a lot of hunters, so it's not an exact thing. That way I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This
event will be fine. Everybody wins.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I like the Dawning. I actually do enjoy the whole cookie baking aspect of it. It's the way the oven is set up just reminds me of like old MMO crafting where you have to actually put the ingredients into your container and that container actually makes the thing. I mean, so it hits like nostalgia chords for me. So I actually really enjoy baking cookies in the Dawning.
Well, Zelda was like that on the Switch, the big, not the newest one that just came out, but the big one. To me, it got overwhelming. I'm like, I don't want to figure out another recipe, but a lot of people really like that. You put this and this and this together, and you did it wrong. It's burnt. It's no good.
Right.
Or you did it right, and now you have this lovely item.
Oh.
Yeah, at least with Destiny, we can look up. Man, there's guides right away. I mean, Hawkmoon. Did anyone get into that pretty quickly? There was guides where to find those things immediately.
Yep, and I used it.
So did I.
Yeah. The feathers.
I mean, when it's finding things, I mean, if it was like something like maybe a little more interesting, I guess I would look for it for a while. But I kind of like to look over the whole quest too. I look on Braytech if it's available to see what all the steps are. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of other things we're going to have to do. So I don't feel like I need to waste my time on just finding the things.
I actually,
the other steps.
Yeah, and defeating the champions, I actually used the solo Nightfall strategy because the Nightfall at the time, the first area has like 4 champions in it. And if you kill the champions and wipe, you reload into that encounter, so easy access to like 4 champions over and over and over again.
Nice. Yeah, I did that a little bit, and then I started running the quests with Stacy, and it was funny, Sin, because I remember like it was you or Nolsey were saying, "Hey, want to do Iron Banner?" I'm like, "Hell no," And then, but funny enough, after that, I was actually running Crucible with Stacy, anyways.
Of course you were.
Funny enough, like. Because it was Mayhem, I don't think she would have wanted to otherwise, but we were getting a little bored of just running the Nightfalls, and so she was the one that brought it up. Let's go into Mayhem. I'm like, okay. Even though, it's a little slower there, but faster in a way because it's Mayhem or whatever, but
right. Exactly. Like I feel Mayhem's was probably a good sweet spot because it's faster matches and your super comes up so quick and you're getting at least like 1 or 2 kills of super maybe, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even plebs like me, I was averaging 15 kills a game, not even trying that hard. So it's like, yeah, it's not too bad. And so it was fun to go in a few matches there and then go back to some Nightfalls again. But what did you all think about the quest? I liked it a lot. It was fun exploring around in there and
Oh, God.
and hearing the sound effects, and I thought it was a fun quest.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Well, first off, I definitely called it properly, and the fact that they were deifying the weapon. Or
Elaborate.
making it almost like a sentient, like Excalibur figure in the lore.
Okay. Yep.
Essentially, which is kind of the same thing they did with the last word when it brought back, because that quest mentions it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of last words, but then there's like the last word that chooses you type deal. And then this hawkmoon isn't, and it's cool because they do explain in a way that it's not hawkmoon, but rather this is a gift from the traveler that is an effigy of a hawkmoon. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that they just way elevated the lore importance of this gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of picked up on that also, and remind me what, because either I don't know if I never got it or I just didn't use it in D1, but how were the perks different in D1?
It was all luck based in D1.
Luck in the
It
chamber.
had it had luck in the chamber, and then it was like I think the secondary perk was holding aces or something like that. I forget what it was called, but it basically added 2 more luck in the chamber rounds per magazine. So you actually ended up having 3 lucky bullets a magazine. And of course, since y'all wouldn't know directly, in D1 Vanilla, at least 2 of those lucky shots could actually combine onto the same bullet, which meant one tapping Guardians in Crucible if you were very lucky.
So that's why it had the reputation.
Yeah, that's pretty much why it had its reputation, because pretty much, like I said, I'm almost wanting to say all 3 lucky bullets could have stacked onto 1 bullet. But yeah, it basically had the capability, just if your luck was on point, you can one-shot a Guardian. Which is the only reason I didn't like Hawkmoon back in the day, because it was like the epitome of RNG. And I didn't really. I mean, it's still like a great feeling gun to use, but the luck aspect to it, I didn't too much care for.
Yeah. Have we played enough with? I know I haven't, but the new perk, and if we like it or not. I mean, some of the word of the street I'm hearing, it's another hand cannon. There's too many to pick from, so this one we may not main.
I used it a little bit here in Iron Banner, and it's okay. I'm not a big hand cannon guy personally, so.
Here we go. I used it a bunch because, of course, it was the first thing I got even before I started hopping.
Then,
no, I still kept using it. It definitely has the spirit of D1 Vanilla Hawkmoon, but now it's in a way it's controllable. But because of the way it works, it's still highly situational. But oh my god, when those situations line up, it is amazing. Because of course the perks now, every critical hit or kill you get with Hawkmoon stacks a paracausal shot. What paracausal shot will do is, depending upon, it will basically amplify the damage of the very last bullet in the magazine. Now, if you reload at any point in time, all your paracausal shots go away. And if you stow the gun on your last bullet, your paracausal shots will go away. So they try and like control it. But you can stow the weapon on as long as you're in the middle of a magazine, and you won't lose paracausal shots. But oh my god, I think if you're on your last bullet, and I think if you have a paracausal shot times 4, then it will one tap a Guardian.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
if you're actually good enough to have paracausal shot times 7 on your last bullet, you can one tap supers.
Wow.
Headshot. It has to be a headshot, true. But you can one-tap supers if you have a times 7 on your last bullet. It's nutty. Like I said, it definitely holds the spirit of Hawkmoon, because there were definitely many encounters and like duels I've had with people. Like, start with a fresh magazine and, you know, take down one dude, start gunfighting with this other at like a ridiculously low amount of health, but these last 2 shots clutch it for me because I had just enough paracausal shots. So it's hilarious when it happens, and I've definitely one-tapped quite a few people and started laughing like an idiot. And it's happened to me. I've been 2-tapped plenty of times by a Hawkmoon running banner. But yeah, it's just super situational, and you have to pay attention, basically. And it kind of sucks for people like me who habitually reload so much in Crucible.
Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's things like Ace of Spades is still like a better exotic hand cannon because it's just more consistent. The Hawkmoon can be a lot of fun.
All right. Can't imagine I would want to use it in PvE over something like Thorn with Necrotic Grip. But I guess if I planned it right, it would be good on a yellow bar, just kind of melting them a little bit more.
Actually, at paracausal shot times 7, you're doing more damage than Sleeper Simulant.
Oh, okay. But still, you got to make sure it's situational where you're ready to use that
exactly
on some larger boss or ad that's out.
Exactly. Hilariously, I actually found less situational uses in PvE than I did PvP.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, maybe some group will find like, okay, in this part of the raid, if you put it on at a certain time or something, then you're very likely to end with good damage. I don't know. That would still be hard to plan.
I mean, one magazine DPS is like 22,000, while Cloud Strikes is like 44 or something like that. But of course, that's one magazine, and if you actually use 2 magazines for DPS or for damage in Hawkmoon, that DPS drops down to like 17k. But so yeah, it's not great. Like, sure, I think there's videos of 6 people using Hawkmoon taking down Taniks, but it's just highly situational.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you bringing up those points, because at least I understand it more now of what it can do. It does mean I'll be doing that, but yeah, it can do.
You may, you never know.
Well, yeah, I could. I don't know if I even want to, but at least I know it's possible.
Yeah. I can never hurt to know the capabilities, but
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun gun though.
I like how it looks. I have it pulled up on the screen right now. It's
oh my god, it's gorgeous.
And I'm not even looking at the ornament, but just the base one, has the feather engraved and the little scopes underneath. Is that what it is? Or
like the wings bring up to the sight, the talon on the grip. Hawkmoon was one of my favorite guns in D1, not because of the way it was, but because of the way it looked. It was like one of the most detailed guns that Bungie had, like just period. And that's why I loved it. It just looked gorgeous. And like having it and hearing it again it's fantastic. And I actually think it makes a hawk screech when you hit paracausal on the last round. So, like I said, it's fun.
Yeah, that part is way cool. And I just loved in the story missions how it's not like this hasn't ever been done before, but I love the little elements that they're adding in to make it feel a little more alive with the lit up bird that you kind of see and follow at times. And little touches like that make a story mission just slightly more interesting than just some stupid nothing scannable. You know what I mean? Just have something that's a little bit animated. You don't have to put a lot of work into it. Yeah. What? Boy, as we're talking about all this lore, I know you had some other things you want to talk. Might as well keep on that conversation. I mean, I'm excited hearing all this stuff.
I remember you posting a bunch of stuff in our channel, in our DM.
Yeah, just a couple small things, No, it's like I said, like I have whenever I dive into lore and like dots start connecting, I start having like these streams of thoughts, and I decided to post it there to remind myself, because the curse of me is I'll forget about them easily.
we
and
all
then
can. It's
half
good
the
to write
stuff.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll forget. So I figured this would be a good thing. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about, and we can keep on with hawkmoon, because again, you have the paracausal hawk that you're following, and Ghost actually tells us it's like made of potential energy, which is like an interesting aspect. Because I mean, again, science class was a long time ago, but I always remember, like, I think it was 6th or 7th grade science, like when they demonstrated the potential energy being converted into kinetic energy via the visualization of a roller coaster. So potential energy is basically your energy at rest, is what you can do. So the fact that this hawk is made up of potential energy basically is just like a huge red blinking light of like the fact that, I mean, it has the same frequency as the Traveler, so it's definitely something that's
Magical.
not possible. Yeah, something not possible in the realm of physics. Let's say that from what I remember of science, that's not possible. But then again, we're dealing with paracausal entities that freaking. But anyway, interestingly though, Ghost does tell us that these visions, that because it's interestingly Crow that has these images of or these visions of the hawk, and he says he can't tell if he's watching the hawk or if he is the hawk. And the fact that Ghost tells us that these types of visions come from the Traveler, and they're more prominent in, I think he said, collapse survivors, like those people, that come from, like, their bodies come from or they themselves have went through the collapse.
Mm-hmm.
If I understand. So like I said, it creates like a whole interesting thing, and considering the Traveler is coming to Crow apparently in the form of a hawk, we also had that imagery back in D1 with all the Crest of Alpha Loopy stuff, because there was the dreams of Alpha Loopy, or Lupi, or whatever, but it had the wolf imagery, so it creates like an interesting thing, because no one in D1 really could tell if the dreams of Alpha Lupi were the dreams of the Traveler or the dreams of the speaker. Like, it's definitely a communication to the Traveler, but we don't know if it was dreams that speaker was having or if it was the speaker looking into the dreams of the Traveler, So it's interesting that, like, that we have that duality now, that the Traveler is approaching someone else with apparent, like, animal vision quest type stuff, which might have implications later, which I went into in our DM, but I won't go into quite publicly just yet, because things are coming. Holy crap. Anyway. But yeah, and like I said, I looked into, because old Shadowkeep lore had, like I said, speaking of the paracausal forces that are the light and the dark, in Shadowkeep, these two forces were simply called the winnower and the gardener, and I actually looked up what the crap winnowing is, and is essentially the process of separating chaff from grain by, like, I mean, very specifically, it's like throwing it up into the air in like winnowing baskets, so that way the chaff gets blown away and the basket catches the grain. And there's winnowers even now, like on farm equipment, that does the same thing, just more mechanically. So it basically lines up with, because the winnower being the darkness, it lines up with what the Hive adapted as sword logic. Because sword logic is survival, my survival over you makes me stronger. And that is like the principle of the winnower, is the fact the The winnower wants the strongest thing to survive for the right of surviving, while the gardener, as I mentioned last time, wants diversity, complexity. He wants something interesting because one thing winning is boring. Because if you go back into that lore, they're playing essentially. There's this math, and I looked this up too, and it's freaking like mind blowing. But it's this. It's called the Game of Life, and you can probably look it up as Conway's Game of Life. That a mathematician basically built this simulation of how life can of how things can adapt and evolve, and it's just a mind-blowing concept of how things can just turn out and go, how patterns can come up in this. And the Vex in one of their previous simulations were one of these patterns, and it was actually the Vex that kept dominating this pattern, which caused the gardener to go, this is boring, this is dumb, I'm going to add myself as a rule. And then the winner was like, well, then I'm going to add myself as a rule. So that's why we have these paracausal forces, is because they exist outside of the rules, but they are their own special rules. And this is actually why the Vex doesn't understand the light or the dark, because they're basically kind of programmed to understand the original rules before these paracausal rules.
Yeah. Now, I'm also noticing, I love the term winnow or winnowing. You notice how the Crow's daily bounties also have that word, winnowing by sidearm, winnowing by shotgun, by void weapon. Mm-hmm. Is that they're using the term more, or is this somehow related to the Crow?
I think it's potentially them just throwing the term out more, and I can't even. It's potentially connected to the Crow because him being an awoken. They were born from the clash of light and darkness on the edges during the collapse. So
yeah,
because legitimately, their colony ship, Exodus Green, Gangley Way, I think it was called. It was out in the middle of the solar system, and it came across one of the pyramid ships. So apparently the Traveler sent out a burst of light to help protect it, and the darkness was pushing against it, and that collision of forces created essentially an artificial black hole that sucked the entire colony ship into it, and the Awoken were born. So it's hard to say at this point in time.
Well, it's also
super
interesting.
Connected.
The weekly bounties, they use the word culling. So fallen boss culling, hive boss culling. If you look up that definition, it can mean reduce the population of a selective slaughter, or it can also mean to pick certain things, like they have culled the flowers, or they've culled this or that. So yeah, it's all kind of interesting how, related or not, they're using these interesting terminology to kind of bring it to the forefront, at least for some reason, to kind of get our mind on it.
Indeed. And like I said, because this I mentioned in the chat, just bringing the terms, the philosophies of the winnower and the gardener and the light and the dark really brings in a perspective that it's not necessarily good versus evil or anything. Because even in the Shadowkeep lore, the darkness says, oh, you think I'm evil, you think I'm a monster, but look at this, you're because of me. You're here because not because I've left, not because they made a special mark on us, but because evolution happened and the fittest survived. So you're my product. So it's not clear cut good versus evil, just kind of life versus death, because the winnower just wants one thing, the most fitting thing to exist. Whatever that one thing is fine with him. He just wants one thing to prove its dominance. While the gardener wants complexity. He wants things that works together for a greater goal, essentially. So it's life versus death, sort of. from that perspective. And now it's kind of personal because, the Traveler spent so many years and millennia running from the threat of the darkness. The fact that now the darkness is interested in us because the Traveler decided to make its final stand for us. Like, it decided to stay right here.
Yeah. And so we're interesting now. Where before, who knows? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, so now that's why the darkness is actually enticing us to use the darkness and to give in to its temptation. He basically wants to control us and turn us against the Traveler. So that way, not only he would win, but he would also have that kind of salt in the wound that I used your own creation against you to win. This is what that feels like.
Man, there's a lot of elements in, if you ever watched the show Lost too. I mean, there they clearly have like the light and the dark, but they even say in the show it's not just a good versus evil. I mean, that's what you tend to ultimately believe by the end of the show. You want to be on the light guy's side, but they still bring up a lot of things to make you think, like, one side kind of has just one philosophy of how they want the world to work, and then the other side has a different philosophy how they want the world to work, and they're both kind of like, there's two like master puppeteers or whatever, and then people are just kind of deciding what side they want to be on and following the rules that those people have. I mean, it's all about rules, like you're saying, like it's a very specific rule set, and you're basically on one camp or the other.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're stuck in. But I do find it interesting, though, that even after we take on the darkness and we kind of master stasis, the Traveler still appears to us and actually gives us a gift of an effigy. Because which is the exact same thing the darkness did for us, like last season in the Arrivals. They gave us a tree branch, and Eris took that tree branch and made the ruinous effigy. Hawkmoon is the Traveler's effigy. So I don't know if that's the only place I'm kind of sitting on the fence is that the Traveler's gift to keep us with the Traveler, which personally I don't really think so. But I think by bending the rules and using the darkness against itself, it's kind of rewarding us.
Okay.
With that is my kind of thought pattern with that. Of course, that could be proven entirely wrong in another season or two, but hey, we'll find out.
But hey, isn't the point that we are just getting storylines wrapped up, amazing storylines, yet we're getting still new stuff too to keep us interested? It's not just like vague openings that were happening before and like, well, we added like 5%, but we didn't really close anything up. Now we're like closing up and then adding 200%,
Yeah, right. I mean, it's great because just this season, we find out for sure who the Exo Stranger is, what they were, what their goals were. Just in D2 in general, I guess. I mean, last year, we finally got the darkness is a specific thing. It's like I said before the show, I mean, it's a great time for me to be in the lore because it seems like every season that's coming out, there's dots that are connecting and like circles closing, but still things are moving forward, and like there's still enough, like I said, intrigue to keep you hooked.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I'm still not even caught up on the lore because I still actually haven't caught up to Bray and all of his scummy crap.
Shenanigans.
Yes.
Definitely scummy crap, yep.
Same difference.
It's awful. It's awful reading through his lore. Like, I don't even think I'm going to be able to read through the Hawkmoon lore, to be honest. Like, if it's actually about Crow, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. It's so sad.
Yeah. Well, I need to find out. I know we can read those lore ahead of time, right, through the websites, but how do we actually earn them? I don't think anyone knows yet, do they?
I don't know for certain right now.
Yeah.
Because I know you asked on Discord if it was like kill related like Fellwinter was, and considering how much I've been using Hawkmoon,
Yeah.
If it's kill related, it's super rare.
Yeah, it's got to be something else. Huh.
Of course, it could be completions of another quest step that is coming at some point in time. Because apparently people are thinking because Hawkmoon is going to be apparently farmable because the other part of its exotic trait is the fact that it can roll random rolls. And apparently there's going to be a quest that releases that will allow you to farm Hawkmoon rolls.
Okay,
or like a repeatable not really a quest, but I guess a repeatable mission.
Like a whisper style? Like something like that we're thinking?
I don't know 100%. All I know is basically the consensus of that it seems to be a mission that we're going to be able to go into, complete for Hawkmoon rolls, and potentially those completions could be what leads to the Hawkmoon lore.
Yeah. Here's the thing that kind of makes sense, because there's I'm almost following this circle of what you're saying and what I'm seeing in the triumphs too, because we know when you have a lore book and you complete all the pages, there's sometimes another triumph or thing that says you've completed all the lore entries. But this one very specifically, it's under Season of the Hunt exotic quest, and it's in the same area as the Hawkmoon, and this is the fourth one that we can't get yet. It says discover all the lore book entries and then you'll complete this triumph. But it's under the actual exotic quest area. It's not under just some lore quest area. There's something else probably coming out so we can get the lore book entries, and then we're probably going to do something. It's probably not maybe it'll be kills, but maybe we have to unlock something first, or maybe it'll actually be a specific thing that we do, or random rolls. It'll be something. We'll find out. I was just curious, if anyone knew yet, and doesn't sound like I probably would have seen something online.
Yeah. That and I do tend to... I'm more frequently getting into, not per se the Destiny subreddit itself, but the r/raid secrets.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Oh, God, that's great. And I actually posted a splendid article that someone wrote up that knows science way better than I do, on what stasis actually is.
Oh, it's
not.
We could
it's not like ice
episode too.
I know, right? But yeah, like I said, it's not ice per se, but it is something. Like when I was debating with Wicked, I made mention that, of course, I was on the side at that point in time that it was ice. But one of my points was the fact that, even if it's not ice, you're still taking down the temperature to create a frozen object, which apparently these perfect crystals that stasis creates, in order to do so, you have to drop an object to absolute zero. So, but the fact that it's a perfect crystal and not ice exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that some
water. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Then somewhere in, there's a flavor text somewhere where someone actually touches one of these crystals and mentions that it's not cold.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's definitely not ice in the exact term of solidified water.
Okay, yeah. Boy, raid secrets, just real quick on the Hawkmoon thing, and this isn't a spoiler because we don't know for sure, but there's someone who said they went in out of bounds areas in this whole Hawkmoon quest reservoir mission area, and they made a whole map. I'm going to check this out later, and there's now, some speculation that there may be other areas we will be going to later.
Nice.
So to be seen.
Like I said, we'll find out for sure.
Man,
they definitely also apparently data mined our last lure upgrade will be coming as part of a quest, and of course we don't know for certain when, but it's not going. It's going to be obvious when it pops up. So. And it might lead I'm guessing it's going to be a little closer to mid-season-ish, probably. Maybe with a month in the season to go. So I'm guessing probably around the end of the Dawning is my speculation.
Yeah, because we've been hitting it pretty heavy so far, and I'm I hope the whole rest of the month and a half, 2 months left aren't pretty bare. So yeah, I'm fine if they space some stuff out a little bit when we have the dawning, and then usually after the dawning there'll be another update, and then that's where we might start seeing some small things come out again, or towards the end of the season. I'm fine either way.
And then it's going to be hitting the seasonal grind all over again.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely. This is awesome. We'll try to keep more time in for lore, especially when we don't have guests. But anytime we'll try to keep, because you always have awesome things to say about it, and this season is on point, and hopefully it stays that way.
I know, right? Like I said, as long as these dots keep connecting and it keeps me interested in reading, I'm definitely going to keep reading. And then I'll just keep my streams of thoughts in the DMs.
Let us know, people. Write in, in the show feedback if you have any comments on what was said or things you want us to talk about. So,
or either that, or if there's enough interest, we could probably make a lore channel where I could type my streams of consciousness and get some conversation going. But of course, I also don't want to create a channel if really no one cares.
Well, I'm sure there's people that care, but it's always hard to know if they can add input also. Yeah, it's always better if we have input and the people can write their ideas also. But yeah, we'll see. We'll keep that in mind, and it's exciting.
So yeah, you heard us, people. Let us know.
Let us know. Yes. All right. Real quick, another topic I was going to talk about tonight is we're having so many people rating these days, as we've mentioned a lot of times.
Lots.
And this is awesome news. And
it is.
It's been working really well. I mean, we have our awesome raid bot again that we share with Guardian Down, 2 Titans and a Hunter. And, you're not required to use it, but people that have been using it, it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's blast and it needs to use. I mean,
yeah. So I just wanted to give a couple tips, because sometimes people still get a little confused on how to set it up and best ways to use it. And I do have, under our Getting Started at Frequently Asked Questions channel, some ideas on how to use it. But a couple things I want to bring up that are still common things that people run into is when you want to get set up on the 100.io system, you have 2 options. You can use their lovely website, or you can download their app. I kind of recommend getting set up through the website first, because a few people have reported issues with the app. And here's the biggest tip that I can give you on the app that I found out too is, if you want to get your 100.io integrated with Discord, if you sign in using your Discord name and password, the app seems to be a little more vague with that and doesn't make it obvious that you're signing in with Discord. So what you have to do is actually sign in with your Discord email address and then that same password. If it's not working, you can reset your password. Just set it the same as what you're using, and then you'll be fine. A couple people run into that. I ran into too. I don't know if it was just one-off things or if that's just how it is, but I know a lot of people like using apps.
Mine either.
Yeah. I prefer the website myself. I mean, whenever I'm sitting down here at my desk, I have both my PS4 and my PC plugged into the same monitor, and then I have my laptop next to it so I can do it there. But I understand when you're out and about or whatever, you want to have options on the phone too. So definitely the app is great too. Just give that a try. Now, when you first sign up, be sure to set your time zone in the app. It doesn't really make a big point of that. I know it does have a line for that, but sometimes people miss it. If you don't set your own personal time zone, then it'll be confusing. If you ever try to schedule an event, it'll probably be different than what you're expecting. I think it defaults to Pacific time zone, which probably most people are not in this Discord Pacific. So definitely do that. And then remember, when you're actually scheduling things, you're scheduling it for your time. So I tend to forget that too, because even though I'm Mountain Time, I know most people are Eastern. So whenever I say, okay, let's do a raid at 10 tonight, really knowing that means 8 for me, but I'm just saying 10, because we kind of defaulted our, it's not official, but Guardian Hub Discord, our default time zone is Eastern US time, and then everyone else just kind of works off of that. So when you're in the scheduling system, again, assuming you actually set your time zone, schedule it for what time it would be for you, not what, if you're not Eastern, schedule it for what time you want it at, your personal time, and then it'll calculate for Eastern and everyone else. And then when it posts in the Discord, it'll say, the time, the appropriate time. When you're joining the group, make note of the time. Try to hold by that schedule. A couple people have been forgetting raids that they've signed up for. It's not a big deal. This is just a game that we're playing. We're not going to get super mad, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a big deal for people that can't raid a lot and they made a previous commitment, or they're talking to their significant other and they're like, okay, I'm going to be playing with my buds Friday night at so-and-so time, and everyone in the family knows that, and the significant other is planning for it too. And then you're excited to raid, and then some people don't show up because they forgot there was a raid going on, And so it kind of sucks for those people that planned it ahead of time. So if you're the type of person that signs up for things and then might forget, create a calendar item, do something so that you'll actually be there. And then another thing is the reserve area. I don't suggest people sign up for reserve as a way to just say, I'm not sure if I can make it or not. What reserve is supposed to mean is you're actually going to make it, but you're an alternate person. Because if you just sign up and you're not sure if you're going to make it, and then again, if you don't follow up on that, then I've seen this happen a lot of times where we've had 5 people ready to go. We're short one person, and then we start hitting up all the reserves, and then none of the reserves are available, even though there's like 3 or 4 reserves. I mean, it's not common, but that can happen. So it's always best, if you're not sure, I guess that's fine, sign up as a reserve. But if it's becoming like day of, it's like 4 hours out, and if you're still not sure if you can make it, it's always best to remove your name from the list, because no one's going to get mad if you can't make the raid. But the sooner you let everyone know, the better we can find someone else ahead of time. And then when we're actually in raids, we have an awesome group. We've always gone along well with each other. But I do have some tips for
tips, tricks, and guides?
Yeah, tips, tricks, and guides so that we can stay awesome. So let's say one day you decide to raid with an LFG group, or let's say someone comes in and tries to take over one of our group. I kind of got some of these. I mean, these are things that I thought were obvious, but I heard Pale Rider XP on Guardian Down podcast kind of give these same ideas. And when you have a raid group, and let's say there's like 3, 4, 5 people, and then you're the person coming in, the quote guest per se, it's usually appropriate for the guest to not try to take over, if you get what I'm saying. Some people have strong personalities, and I get that. But if I was a guest in an LFG group, and if I was like the 6th person coming in, I listen to how they're doing the raid. And even if they're doing it a different way that doesn't make sense, you just kind of want to roll with it. I mean, if the conversation comes up, oh, have you ever, they're like, oh, it's not going well. And they're like, oh, have you ever considered it this other way? Then that's an appropriate thing. But you don't want to just be like, well, why are you guys doing it that way? It's like, sir, you're the guest. We're doing it this way because we're used to it this way. So, just little things to keep in mind. And I actually did run a raid once with the aforementioned Pale Rider XP, and great guy. And the way he was doing Garden, doing the eyes, third encounter, was totally different than the way I was used to. It was, they were doing, you would always shoot either left, top, or right every single time, no matter if you were going into the circle of goo or not. And I'm like, oh, I've never run it that way, but it makes sense.
They do what now?
Okay. So, you know how like when you're following the boss for the third encounter,
Yeah,
I know it doesn't make sense at first, but it makes sense once you hear how it works. And again, I think this is a minority way of doing it, but anyways, let's say you're the first person in, okay, and you call out. When you're in the circle, you still have to look at the top fin, and you're the only one that can call out if it's inner or outer. But if let's just say you're person 1, you're always going to shoot top, okay? So when person 2 goes in, they look if it's inner or outer, but they don't shoot the top fin. If person 2 is assigned to left, they will always shoot left. So basically the person who jumps in for 2 or 3 has to look if it's inner or outer, but then they still shoot their respective side every single time. So person 1 will always shoot the top, no matter if they're doing the callouts or not. Person 2 will always shoot the left, no matter if they're doing the callouts or not. And then person 3 will always shoot the right. Does that make a little more sense?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, see, Sin, that's a good way to put it. I mean, I didn't entirely agree with it just because it was a different way, but you roll with the punches and it worked fine. We got it worked out. I mean, let's put it this way. Are we kind of noticing in Deep Stone Crypt, people haven't totally gotten in fights or like the first encounter, there's a few different ideas of what to do, and we're all kind of rolling with it, right? And maybe there will be a way that comes out more a winner. But at the end, even though, there's the two different ways to do the end, you can do numbers or you can do the colors and left and right. And even though I personally would prefer for the color way, because I don't know, just conceptually in my brain, it just seems visually pleasing to me, right? But even I'm admitting that probably the number way is going to be the default way. I feel like the streamers are doing that. And for some people, the numbers might actually be less confusing, even though it sounds more confusing at first. So if it's going to become a way to do things, I recommend people roll with the punches and, just go with that. See what the streamers are doing, see what becomes the standard way of doing it. And our group, if we like doing it a different way, we can still do it the different way, but kind of keep in mind that, well, we may be the minority, actually, right? A lot of other groups may be doing it a different way.
We're not the minority. We're doing it the right way.
Our side way with colors? Is that what you mean? I don't know. What do you think, Des? I actually think the number way is going to win out.
Yeah, people are liking the number way a lot better. I'll say that.
Sin, what's her name does it the number way too? Liv.
Really? I thought we did the colorway when we were first doing it.
Well, kind of. Here's the thing. Because they were doing the 4-ball strat, we had to know what color you were starting with. And at least what she was teaching me is you just go to the first side to the left of what the boss is. So if we were starting on blue, then with the 4-ball strat, if boss is going to spawn, we're just going to do orange because orange is the first to the left. So it's kind of numbers aren't as important when you're doing the 4-ball strat in a way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I think I remember seeing some streams where they were doing numbers technically in the background or whatever. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up being. Shout out to Gator. If you're Gator, you might have better luck with the numbers than the colors.
I know. I actually myself, because I've been running scanner a bit, and I had one mishap because we were using color and it was totally blue right, but I have an issue where I tend to confuse my lefts and my rights. So I tell Gator, it's blue left. You sure? Yeah, it's blue left. Dump it. He dies. It's blue. Oh, I'm gonna pick this up and deposit it on the right. Whoops.
And here's the other problem with the color side thing is because you can have people saying something like blue right and left orange. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Start with the color first each time. But that's why people forget it, because if you don't have a standard way of doing it, you should say blue right, orange left, not blue right, left orange. So, yeah, I don't know. I probably even explained that wrong now that I'm thinking about what I just said. But at least with the numbers, it may seem confusing at first. But if you can just take people on a little tour, come over here. This is a number 1. This is a number 2. Try to ingrain it in your mind where 1 is so that you'll be able to get there when time comes to pass. But
yep.
But I hear you, Sin. And, I like the color idea. And I've been running the first encounter with a lot of groups that I've heard all sorts of things. I've probably the number 1 thing that people do different than us is they might start the numbering system different. Like a lot of times I feel like people they do a circle instead of each side left or right. So they'll have light 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then no, that's how we do it. Sorry. No, they'll do, okay. That's how we do it. See, I'm getting confused now. But what they will do is they will do starting from the back of the room. That'll be 1 through 5, no matter what. So on dark, it's opposite of how we do it. So their dark 1 is in the back from the door going to downstairs instead of in the front.
Well, I also know, because there's 2 entirely different strategies for first encounter as well, because you have your 2 scanner strategy, but then you have your one scanner strategy,
Mhm.
where basically you pick up operator in the dark room, you pick up scanner, your scanner looks through dark, gets the call outs.
Yeah, and they run through the door, right?
Yeah, operator opens the door, they run through, then you collect the light call outs,
Yep.
then the operator goes down and pops all the things damage phase. But yeah, which is kind of a route I've been wanting to try, but I don't press it. So
It's kind of fun in a way, especially that being that the first encounter, you have more incentive to try different ways of doing it, and there's less to lose. And then again, at the Boston encounter, I feel like there's still some flexibility for sure. A lot of people will split up. Well, I don't know if a lot, but I feel like scanners should stick together no matter what, because it just makes logical sense. Because if you're doing the 2-ball or the 4-ball strat, the scanners have the least to worry about as far as like doing other jobs. So why not just keep them together to keep it simple? And then it's the other teams that the ball passing people can kind of like juggle back and forth. But I was with another group that he was showing us how one scanner should go with one team, another scanner should go with the other team for juggling the balls. I'm like, okay, that's fine. The thing that helps too, right, with learning these different strats, I realize this a lot in Garden. The more different strats you can learn, maybe not like right away your first or second run, it might seem confusing, but as you get more comfortable with the raid, learning different ways actually can help you be a better player, because then you get a better conceptual idea of what's going on with all the different intricacies, and being able to actually do clutch moves too, right? Like if you know everything that's going on, someone dies or something gets messed up, you can actually be a clutch player that runs in and you already know everything that's going on, so you can help fix it.
Exactly. Or with the brouhaha that is Deep Stone Crypt, considering a square does everything, just in case you accidentally pick up operator, you can potentially just roll with it.
Yeah. Well, excellent. I don't know if you guys have any other tips or tricks, but we have awesome. Honestly, these small little things are not even a big deal, but I would say our raid groups are just so awesome, and let's keep them that way so people from all over will want to join us. And if we're quote the LFG group and we're bringing in some extra people that they think that we're awesome and they want to join our Discord, and we'll keep it that way.
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah.
I mean, my only general tip for anything when dealing with people is don't be a dick.
Right.
So, I mean,
sounds like a going theme.
That's all I got. I mean, yeah. I mean, essentially, TLDR.
We all have crazy times, and if you're not feeling it and you got to go, it's totally cool. We get it.
Yeah, totally. Life comes first. If you got to bail.
Yep.
And also, since we're talking about numbers, if you need to go one or two, you just got to go as well.
Exactly.
Nice.
Not everything is like old school MMOs. We don't expect you to bring a bucket beside you, okay?
Or a mob.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, son.
I mean,
watching too much TikTok.
I know. But it's crazy. My daughter, she's like, I want to lay with daddy. This is what took me so long coming to actually record tonight. And then she's like, she'll lay down, she'll put her pacifier in. She says, let's watch TikTok through her pacifier.
Hopefully you got the appropriate ones for her.
Well, I mean, I don't have an actual account. So I just scroll through. And I mean, sometimes I have to skip through it. Because it's not all appropriate.
They could still track you even if you don't have an account with IP address and still give you targeted stuff based on what you're watching. But yeah. But yeah, no, TikTok's a lot of fun. I have to admit, even being a Gen Xer, and obviously I try to go towards the funny, more appropriate my age stuff, but it's very interesting. I love the brilliant ideas from a marketing standpoint, what people can come up with to have an idea and not have to put a lot of time and effort into it. I mean, I know once you become famous, you probably have professional videographers and makeup and lighting and everything like that. But at the same time, people can, I think we always say this about Great Equalizer, but if you come up with a brilliant idea, TikTok, boy, you sure have a fighting chance of getting something where even more than other platforms.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm interested
indeed.
in doing that, but it's still fun to watch.
There's this Louisiana guy that I like. Well, there's a couple Louisiana guys because they have this accent, and one of them is like famous saying, and it's probably you've seen him too. Hey, Kuyan. That guy. I think it's called. His name is Hey Erock. And then there's another guy that's got a really, really bit of a twang to him, and he does like these cooking things.
Oh God!
It's like his saying is "dude." I don't know. Yeah.
I'm still down, Sin. If you can think of some use case where we can have a Guardian Hub TikTok, the problem with TikTok is like it's so ethereal, like it just goes away so quickly. You can follow people and see the things again, but it's not quite like Instagram or Facebook or something. But yeah, if we can think of some interesting little things to put on there, maybe we will. You've got to come up with the music or something, Sin, and then maybe we can have
come up with the idea, you execute. How about that?
A video of you making some awesome kill in Crucible, or a video of you flubbing in the raid and getting killed. I don't know. Something.
I actually had some good matches tonight.
Yeah, tell us about it. I was going to live report from Sin.
I just logged out of the game, so
tell us what was happening.
I had a 3-something in one game, and I was trying Hawkmoon because I needed to finish the Iron Banner quest this week. One, I didn't know there was an emblem, so I got the emblem tonight, which is kind of
nice.
Cool.
Yep, nice.
So I switched to my. I have a pulse rifle that I've been using. I think it's the seasonal or beyond light pulse rifle. I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but I switched to that, and
yeah,
I'll tell you now. It's called right? Hailing Confusion.
Oh yeah.
So I've been using that. Yep, yeah, I've been using that, and then this one game, I was just kind of hanging back a little bit, and I was just popping off. Just killing people, like picking off other people's kills just because I was where I was sitting, and then people were charging at me. I was by myself. I was killing them. I just had a really good match that time. But then I got really bad matches starting the night. Like I couldn't shoot anything. I couldn't kill anybody, and it felt awful, especially trying to use Hawkmoon, and I wasn't that comfortable with it. Again, I'm not a hand cannon guy, but yeah, after I switched to the pulse, everything was good.
Oh yeah, and when you said pulse, for some reason my mind went scout. But I'm really liking the Royal Chase. It's kind of like my new version of Randy's with the full auto and multi-kill clip. Steady. I
don't think I have one with a full auto, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a fun weapon. Yeah.
You want to talk about fun? It's the Raid Scout. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That thing is.
What's the name of that one?
If I remember, I would have said it.
Shoot. Let's see if I have it in my inventory. It might
I
thought
might start with a B. Trusty. There we go. It does not start with B.
Trusty, brusty. I mean, kind of.
But yeah, Trusty. It like if you can get a high enough stability on it, it's. But there definitely is like a sweet spot of stability on it. I will say that because I had one roll where like stability was kind of drastic between one choice and the other, and it just felt so much better with the higher stability. And I will say, for those out there looking to outduel an auto rifle with an auto rifle, because I see still a lot of 600 RPM auto rifles, especially in Banner. Yes, that means a lot of gnawing hungers. Arctic Haze.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've been learning that more lately. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because again, it seems very controllable for a rapid fire. It is a rapid fire, and rapid fires are more, if you can hit your headshots, are more effective than 600s. So
remember, people, I don't think you get your first Arctic Haze until you do that weapon frame from Varix, right? Or it's not called a frame, but so. A weapon purchase, and then you'll start getting those drops afterwards. But
I think so.
Yeah, but when I saw that there was the auto rifle, I'm like, I knew how to get that one.
Yeah, and it feels super good because my roll is actually entirely crappy because it's definitely the first one that dropped for me. So far, the only one. RNG hasn't been very nice to me, but whatever.
I got Substance Unrelenting, pretty good PvE roll.
Well, I can't say it hasn't been very nice because did get Eyes of Tomorrow quick. And
Rub it in. Why don't you rub it in?
And my raid from yesterday, I was able to get a Posterity hand cannon.
Oh, that's the one I don't have yet. I need that. See, that's why I'm also trying to get my hunter in so I can more chances of drops.
Exactly. Like once I'm like empty out the loot pool, I'll probably start rerunning raids on my hunter just for Spoils of Conquest. But yeah, I have that same mentality because I super want that raid MG. I super want one.
Yeah, I haven't even played with it yet. See, okay, here's what I was going to say too. There's a lot of weapons on my list that I have still yet to play with and see how I like them. And remember how everyone's complaining at the beginning there's not a lot of new weapons? Well, at least for me in PvE,
I mean,
I'm having a good time.
I think a lot of the argument, though, tends to be if like your favorite weapon isn't a currently populated or touched upon archetype right now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No,
I get it.
Because
and isn't that even more so PvP usually when they're saying that? But maybe PvE also.
I can probably see PvP, but like I said, that part I haven't much paid attention to. But I do feel like a lot I hear that there aren't a lot of weapons for me to try. I wish for blank type of weapon, and it's like tends to be super specific, and it tends to be one of those that just isn't touched on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody in our Discord made Bernstein made a point that rapid fires are kind of non-existent for a usable pulse rifle right now. And I got to thinking about it, and whenever Vault comes, like, sadly, Vault might be our next instance of a rapid fire pulse rifle, because Praetor's Timepiece, if I remember the conversions between D1 and D2 properly, Praetor's Timepiece might be a rapid fire, but Lord knows when that's going to happen, and if they're going to introduce weapon before that or with that, or it's a dance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier for me to be on the side of sunsetting for those arguments because I already tend to, like, for PvP, I'll look at what's effective. It's like, okay, I want to use an auto rifle, but what's my best chance to outduel stuff? Oh, right now, rapid fires. All right, let's try this, this, and this. And like I said, I found Arc Decays, which feels so good. I mean, even if I didn't have that, I still have my Steel Feather Repeater, which, again, rapid fires just happen to have choices right now, and yeah, it's.
Well, yeah, I would probably rather run like a primary hand and then hand cannon, and then now that we have this good, I mean, we had 9 hunger, but yeah, RDKs in the secondary slot. So,
yep. I'll tell you what, trying to get the Crucible wrap for Dord now, and like while I was running Hawkmoon, because I became that guy for sure, even though I'm that guy in Discord right now. Yeah, I became that guy running a sniper hand cannon, and now I finally get, like, it finally clicked of why people like sniper hand cannons so much. It's like, your aim doesn't have to be on point. You just need to have a hand cannon that could switch to quickly. You tap a body shot, switch, headshot, dead. It's like, oh, wow.
yeah.
I think I'm only 3 kills away from getting that rep, too.
I was kind of even doing a super poor man's version of that back when, what was the fusion that was really toasting Crucible for a while? Arentol. And then even if I didn't get the kill, I was pretty good with getting the one-shot kill with it. But even if I didn't, then I could just quickly swipe. Even an auto, I could just clean up with, because the Arentol had mostly gotten him down. And, the range on that was amazing. It wasn't, some of those ranges were almost sniper level. I mean, I know that's sounding pretty outrageous, but the range was good though. And then, just clean up with an auto or something else or a hand cannon. So.
Yep.
Well, we better start wrapping up for tonight. We had a lovely, fun, longest show.
I think I see what's happening here.
What's
normally we're sticking around an hour. and now we're moving like to an average of like an hour and a half, almost 2. I
When's
think
the last time we had an hour? Are you sure you're not thinking like a year ago?
yeah, I know. I'm
You saying I talk too much? I see.
I'm thinking we're moving more to these like 3 to 4 hour podcasts.
No, I'll try to keep.
No.
We'll try to keep 2 on average as our longest. Hour and a half, 2, I think, is a good sweet spot. But,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Well, I feel bad. You're the editor.
If I decide to edit one day.
Yeah, no, it's always an excellent job. We love that music too. That was anyone who doesn't know behind the scenes. I kind of, we had our first music was the Vault Encounter from the raid because I loved that, and then I switched it to the Garden one. Well, Sin surprised me with this latest one. I was going to think of coming up with some new music, and he made an excellent choice. And even if I didn't like it, I'd probably try to like let him roll with it. But like, I honestly love it. Sin.
It just happened to be the ones that I found that I had liked when I was skimming through the files.
Yeah,
nice.
So
solid, good stuff. Yeah, solid stuff. Well, right. For those that don't know, please consider joining our Discord so you can continue the conversation. We have a show segment feedback channel. We have a just general discussion. You can join the Discord and just be a lurker if you want. But it's fun to schedule games with other people and just chat with us because 99% of the time we're pretty chill, right?
Yeah, I'll say that.
We're not gonna bug you.
Maybe 90% at the lowest, but yeah, somewhere in the 90s.
Hey, that is still excellent stats for the online gaming community.
Right.
I've heard of some stories for sure.
All right.
Yep. And we haven't said this for a while, but feel free and leave us a review on iTunes or anywhere else. And I have an aggregate checker that will look for that. And if you leave us a review, I will read it on the air. If you want to become famous in the Guardian Hub podcast, nowhere else but that. But we will read your review on the air, and we always appreciate feedback.
Do it now.
Yes, leave us a review. And other than that, I don't know if we have any other housekeeping. Discord, leave us a review, blah, blah, blah. Join the clan if you want.
Check out the Destiny News Hub.
Yes, definitely. DestinyNewsHub.com. Got to get that title right.
Got to get that boom, boom, pow.
Yeah. A lot of good articles to come out with. So.
We do have one quick question that Lazarus Lazarich
I saw that and I
posted.
Forgot. Thank you, Des.
And Harry. A quick question on the final encounter. Do you all ever find yourself short on ammo when you get to the final stand as a fire team?
Never. Yes.
Like I said, I answered this early, but then it was like, oh crap! Question for anywho. But another yes. Like every freaking time because I'm the dummy.
All the time.
Double special heavy works super good in that encounter until final stand.
Until it doesn't.
Yeah, until it
doesn't.
Right.
Until it doesn't.
There's times where, if we're 2-phasing it, I mean, we're not, maybe we'll be soon where we can 1-phase it, even with 4-ball. I mean, even with, probably not with 2-ball, but like we've gotten really close with 4-ball strat, 1-phasing it, but we're on 2nd phase or whatever. And there's times where there's tons of special ammo on the ground. Like, I'm all good. And there's other times where it's like, where's the special ammo? I got to start looking for some stat because it's like 2nd phase. We're getting close to final encounter. I mean, let alone his question probably, and what you were saying, Des, is like, yeah, final stand. But even if you didn't go into the 2nd phase with enough special ammo, you're really screwed.
For some, like I have it set up on my mods that I'm actually really good on ammo as long as I can kill things.
Yeah.
Because I have one. Because like I said, running shotgun and sniper. A tip for people: you can choose to basically go for either shotgun or sniper ammo finders. It's gonna work for both of your specials.
Yeah.
So I have usually sniper ammo finder. I have sword ammo finder, and then my others I have like sniper and shotgun reserves, sniper and shotgun like deeper reserves on snipers and shotguns, more ammo per brick on snipers and shotguns, and then like sniper reloader, I think, normally. But yeah, and that, like I said, as long as it's between the phases, I've yet to be short on the ammo going into damage phases. But because Final Stand happens and there's no ads, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run up to Tanix and hit him in the face with my shotgun. Doesn't work too well.
Yeah, yeah. And we don't have to get a whole another big conversation about it now, but like I think another thing we've learned is save a golden gun or Nova Bomb if you have that opportunity.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, if you're going to be...
You can plan for it if you need.
If you know you're going to hit Final Stand and you don't need the extra damage, save it.
Yes. Yeah, it's like anything, right? It's like you gotta. I mean, I won't mention any names, but I've played with people that recently that blew their super right before like an immunity phase or something like that, and then they realized and like, oh crap, I should have done that differently. And yeah, it's one of those things you just get with experience. Just you're getting close to that, and you just I got to save that for another phase.
Yeah, so. And I actually did that myself, running Nova Bomb on my Warlock. I had ended up getting a Nova Bomb at like the tail end of a damage phase. And then I realized, oh crap, I'm not going to have my Nova Bomb to take down the balls. Whoops. I'm going to save that from now on. Gotcha.
We might have a title. Nova Bomb to take down the balls.
Take down the balls.
Oh god, yeah, Deep Stone Crypt is like rife with freaking innuendo with the way things go. It's, oh my god. Just know how to handle your balls, people.
Shout out to Ninja Muffin. I love it when she kind of coined this term when we're getting ready to drop the balls right there. Her phrase is, he's balling.
He's balling.
I love it. Well, we love to hear what your phrases may be too. Just let us know. like you said, Des, there's a lot of different ways you can.
Oh god.
Go.
And it's so fun.
All right. Let's finish this up. We have game to get to. We have things to do, sleep to get, work to do. Whatever.
For sure.
I just posted in general chat. I forgot to post this earlier, but my wife got a request. Apparently, some people close to me play Destiny. Some people she knows that she's made shirts for and shit.
Wow!
One of them asked for a pair of socks. I posted the one she made for me, but she made a set of socks for somebody else, for this lady's husband. But she made these. Do not disturb. I'm playing Destiny, and they're on the bottom of the socks.
Jeez, man, this is of all the ideas, this is a good idea. I know a lot of people would want to buy these. She's got to get on this.
Well, what I can do is, because I did, you and I've talked, Kingsley. I do have a website up for selling, and I do post her stuff on there. So I will post these up, and she can customize them. I like the Destiny tricorn on the one sock.
But yeah, you could do it either way.
Yeah, but she did it one where the Destiny tricorn was. She did it where there was a keyboard. But you can customize the Titan, Hunter, or Warlock on the right one. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah, maybe we'll have some interesting news with that. But yeah, it's always fun to run into. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to buy my raid jacket. It's freaking expensive. I kind of want to, because I actually did get the raid, even though it was a kind of a carry from Liv and her team, but I still got it done in the first week. So I'm like, should I buy the jacket? It's freaking expensive.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Yeah.
Like if I had the opportunity, that jacket would actually be like a temptation for me, because that is a nice jacket.
That's the thing. It is definitely a temptation. I'm kind of like just a little over the line, but every once in a while I pull back. I'm like, do I really want to buy it?
Yeah. It's one of those, I'd probably still not buy it, but it'd be a massive temptation.
We'll see. We'll report back in. I think you have to order it by end of December or something like that. So we'll report back in a couple of months if that actually happened or not. All right. Well, with that, Des, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you or play with you?
You can, of course, get a hold of me and find me on Twitter at DES_Raven. Most aptly, you can get in touch with me in our Discord. Yeah. I have no soapboxes or anything, so Sin.
My underscore brother. You can find me on twitch.tv/SynMedia, SynCYN, and over on Twitter at Sin_Media. Kingsley, four-ball us and take us out.
No underscores here. We just have Kingsley Mac all the places, except for on Twitter, I am MC Kingsley. And you can find our show either on Twitter at The Guardian Hub or on our lovely website at theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the nets.
All right, thanks everyone for listening this week. We really appreciate it. And we will catch you again next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later.